not know why they're here.
In the giant, vague, cosmic sense, or what are you explaining the town today?
I got an hour to fill. So it's supposed to be a question and answer, so gosh, you know.
We should have some questions.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Well, thanks for coming. This was great. Oh, question. All right. There you go.
What inspired you to make it?
Well,
There are many stories behind that. We're trying to pick one, you know? What I'm going to call this time.
well, we both we were finishing up other projects. I was working on Foglio, Yellow Offering.
I was doing magic cards, lots and lots of magic.
And we were like, you know, we should just sit down and do something brand new, fresh, and different. And Girl Genius is what we came up with. You know, we knew we wanted a strong female character.
We went away to, gosh, I think it was Emerald City Comic-Con or something way back. This was like in '93. I think this was even right before we got married.
Maybe.
And he went to a convention where I stayed home, and he came back with 2 drawings. So he came up with the name. He came up at home with a drawing of Agatha and a full figure standing there with a little device, and then the words "Girl Genius." And the other sketch was a drawing, a headshot of the same character, and it said, "If you're so smart, why aren't you rich?" And she was saying, "I'm working on it." And that was, but the way she was dressed, it was much more kind of modern mad science. But around that time, I was going through all of his old files, and this was before we really had a scanner or, you know, big terabyte drives or anything. So what instead we had was a couple of file cabinets full of photocopies, and we still have those. And I kind of need to go through them again and this time digitize everything.
Wondering.
Stall. But I was finding all these wonderful pictures, convention sketches, things that he had drawn ever since his high school days, all the way through that time period. And there were airships, and there were cats, and little tailcoats with walking sticks, and cats, and there were strange robots, and was it Locomotive Lars, the superhero? And he had a superhero that was kind of like a steam train guy with like a caricature and all this. All this stuff that I said, you do myth adventures, and it's fantasy. You do What's New with Phil and Dixie, and it's fantasy role-playing stuff. You do Buck and it's science fiction. But these sketches here have everything I like in them. And I've never done anything with these.
Never really been called for. Nobody does anything like that.
And so instead of being a modern day thing, we didn't say, let's make it steampunk. We said to ourselves, let's make it kind of more Jules Verne mad science. Let's make it, a little more kind of Lovecraft, Jules Verne, H.G. Wells stuff. Back then, I think the term steampunk existed, but I'm not sure that I had ever heard it. I don't know about you. So,
Probably.
But yeah, I was out there.
Yeah.
So,
and that gave us a different look for the book, which really crystallized a lot of the story.
and made it a lot more fun to write. Because what did I like? I like airships. I love mad scientists. I love Frankenstein monsters, and so all of these things that I liked, we were able to put them into a story that then we could talk about when we were on long car trips. This was before we had kids too. So now we can sit around and go, that kid, what's he thinking? But get off my lawn. But back then, we didn't have that to talk about. So we talked about the story.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
How'd you come up with the idea of Jaegers?
Oh! I didn't come up with the idea for the Jaegers. That is actually a bit of real...
That's right stuff.
That is.
This is how it works.
We've got... Girl Genius is plotted out. We started writing it in 1993, and it wasn't until like 2000 that we actually started drawing.
You started drawing it in 99, and then published it.
Yeah. But what this did is it gave us a chance to actually plot out the arc of the story. So we know how it begins, and we know what's supposed to go on in the middle, and we certainly know how it ends. And but how it gets there from a day-to-day basis, that's constantly changing, and new things are being added.
It shifts. But on the other hand, that scene with Gil and the army of war planks, I had been waiting for that scene.
The Jaegers came about in the first book. There's that scene where Wolfenbach and his entourage show up at the lab where Agatha and Merlot and Glasvich are working.
And there's a Jaeger at the party.
Well, there's
a guy at the party with a hat.
Well, when I drew the original page where they're walking into the lab, I had the whole page laid out, and there was this big empty space in the front. And it was like, well, you'd think you'd have like somebody like
some guards or
somebody going have something. So I didn't want to just draw something boring. So
and it being that science movie and everything, you gotta have something kind of strange.
So we drew this kind of monster guy and gave him this faux Brooklyn German Katzenjammer kid accent. He's really fun.
And then he's sitting there griping, he's drawing, he's like, I love this guy, he's so cool, I just want to keep drawing this guy. And then, I said, well, hey, isn't it nice that we're the writers? Because you can do that.
From that, all the Jaeger monsters.
And then we stood there talking, and and I named them. And oh gosh, let's see. Yeah, so that was where that came from.
Yeah, pure life. So your name for it.
I was just wondering, where did you come up with the idea of the spark?
Oh, it's mad science. That's we knew we wanted to do a book about mad scientists, but because of the way we think, I guess. The other thing we used to do before we had children is like around 2 in the morning we would take long walks around the neighborhood and we would talk about story. And we did this almost every night. And we would think like, it's not enough to just have it, they're mad scientists. Well, why are they like that? They're just like that. I said, well, what would cause a person to be like that? And so really what that came out of was overthinking overthinking some stereotypes a little too much. Because of course I just say mad scientist and everybody knows what that means, but if we start thinking about, well, okay, but now I'm trying to write a story about it instead of a 5-minute animated cartoon. Then you need like motivation and reasons, and it makes you think like, well, why would somebody be like that? Where does that come from? And how does it make people behave? And how does it make people feel? And what do other people think of those people? And then it kind of coalesces into something. And I like the name Spark. So.
And we basically needed something that would set these elite characters aside from normal scientists who can do amazing things, but it takes them like 10 years toiling away in a lab.
And they're maybe not as scary.
Yeah, there you go. So it's like, Girl Genius is like science without having to worry about funding.